My girlfriend's best friend framed me for cheating because she was in love with me, so I exposed her and ruined her reputation. My girlfriend tried to cut her off, but she did not take it well. In my last semester of college, I was given an assignment worth 40% of my grade, and I somehow got a 0. I emailed my professor asking how this was possible, but he said it was my own fault for submitting a blank document. I immediately checked what I had submitted and saw that all the work was somehow gone. I broke down and went to my girlfriend seeking comfort. I told her about it, but when I did, she gave me this sly smirk. I asked her what was so funny, and she told me she deleted my assignment. I started crying. This assignment determined if I'd graduate. She knew I promised my grandma before her death that I'd be the first in my family to get a college degree, and now I had broken that promise. I asked her why she would delete my work, and she responded that it was for cheating. I asked what she was on about, and she showed me screenshots her best friend sent her of my Tinder profile. My jaw dropped. I told her that was my extremely old profile, and to prove it, I downloaded the app in front of her and tried to log in. Of course, the login failed. My girlfriend yelled, "Why would her friend send the screenshots?" And I responded that maybe because she's psycho, we never resolved the issue and went to bed angry at each other. So a few days later, my girlfriend and her best friend Chelsea were on campus, and they happened to walk by the cafe where I was sitting with my classmate working on a project. They passed by us, and I waved and smiled at them, then went back to working. Chelsea had to make a thing out of it. She apparently started whispering to Jenny about how cute the girl was, and I chose her to work on the project because I wanted to get with her. She then talked to her about how close we were sitting and how much I was laughing with the girl. That night when my girlfriend got back to the dorm, she was already on edge. She asked me about the girl I was with at the cafe and said that I was keeping secrets. I tried to explain. I said the girl was just a classmate and we were finishing up an assignment, but she wasn't hearing it. Chelsea had gotten in her head again. The conversation spiraled. From there, I pointed out that it was Chelsea who kept feeding her these lies, but my girlfriend jumped to her defense, immediately saying there was no way Chelsea would lie. It was like everything I said only made things worse. I had always felt like I was competing with Chelsea for her attention. I brought up this one time when we had a date planned to this really nice restaurant that Jenny said she wanted to go to, and she ended up canceling on me at the last minute because Chelsea had just broken up with her boyfriend and needed her. I had waited weeks to get a reservation, but all of that went out the window when Chelsea called. I understood at the time, but looking back, it was a pattern. Every time we had something planned, if Chelsea needed something, I was the one who got pushed aside. I told her that I knew that. Chelsea always came first. She tried to justify it, saying Chelsea was going through a hard time, but I couldn't help pointing out how it never seemed to matter what was going on with us. Wasn't her priority. When Chelsea was around, she got defensive. She insisted Chelsea would never do something as petty as lie to her just to sabotage our relationship. If anything, she was just trying to protect her. To her, if anyone was lying, it had to be me. By the time she grabbed her keys and stormed out, I was just standing there feeling like there was no winning. It was like no matter how much I tried to explain myself, her trust in me was already gone. Later that week, Chelsea invited my girlfriend to a party. She pitched it as a way to have some fun and clear her head after all the tension between us. It seemed like just a chance to relax. I didn't think twice about it. If anything, I was relieved she'd have a break from all the drama. They got to the party and everything seemed fine from what I heard. Later, they were just hanging out, grabbing drinks and chatting with people. Meanwhile, I was across the room with some friends. It wasn't a big deal. I was just catching up with people, laughing like I normally do. I wasn't even thinking about anything serious. It was just a normal Friday night. But then from across the room, Chelsea must have spotted me. She made her move, leaning in, close to my girlfriend, probably whispering something, pointing me out. I don't know what she said exactly, but whatever it was, it flipped a switch in my girlfriend. I could see her face change. From across the room, she went from smiling and relaxed to cold, her expression tightening like she'd just seen something unforgivable. I saw her heading straight for me, eyes locked on me like I was the enemy. She got right up in my face, her voice sharp. "So this is what you're doing now, flirting with other girls while I'm over there and you act like everything's fine?" I was completely caught off guard. I asked her what she was talking about, and she told me not to lie to her. She said she saw me laughing with them all close like she didn't even matter. And now I'm sitting there pretending I'm innocent while I was clearly moving on to someone else. It was like a punch to the gut. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I told her wasn't flirting with anyone. We were literally just talking, but she didn't care. Her eyes were already full of doubt, her mind racing with whatever Chelsea had been feeding her. She claimed I had been lying this whole time and that she could see what was going on. I tried. Again, more desperate now, she cut me off, and I could see tears in her eyes. She said I didn't care about her then and that I never did, and just like that, she turned on her heel and stormed out of the party. My chest felt tight like I couldn't breathe, and all I could think was, how did it get this bad so fast? That's when it really hit me it was all Chelsea. She'd been pulling the strings. All along the next morning, I could tell right away something was different when she walked in. Her face was blank, but the tension was there. She didn't speak right. Away she stood there. I could feel it, coming before she even said a word. Without a word, she tossed her phone onto the table in front of us. The screen, already lit up, I picked it up confused. What looked like a chat between me and some random girl. The messages were flirtatious. The words didn't feel like mine, but there they were in front of us. Then I looked at the person who was behind them. I looked up at her, trying to find the words to explain, but